What's up guys, welcome back once again to Did Reviews. Today I'm going to be building in this is the InWin POC. I've recently done a sort of an unboxing and build video of actually building the case, because this is a case you can fold like an origami case. So it's all together and today we're going to do a build in it. So let's get on with it. So first of all, let's talk about the specs of what I'm going to put in here. This isn't going to be like a showcase build or anything like that. It's literally a build to test the case. However, I'm going to be trying to see if I can fit a massive GPU in it, which is the AMD Radeon RX 7900 XTX Red Devil from Power Color. So we're going to see if that will fit in it. And then obviously you'll know what sort of high-end hardware you can get in this. Other than that, we're going to be sticking an A520 board from Gigabyte in it, a 5600G. It'll have a 1TB M.2 SSD, and it'll have 16 gigabytes of Team Group's T-Force Delta RGB DDR4 RAM in it at 3600 speed. So it's going to hopefully be a nice looking build, and obviously we'll do some testing to see how well this performs thermally, and then I'll give my sort of opinion on how I thought it was to build him. So let's get on with the build. Right, so there we have the InWin POC build, and as you can probably see from the little bit of B-roll, I didn't do a lot because it's quite a small case. There's not a lot to really show you in terms of the build when it's finished. I think particularly it looks really good. As you probably noticed again from the B-roll, in the motherboard compartment, the CPU compartment, obviously the PSU goes in there as well. Cable management is very, very difficult. As you can probably, like I say, see from the B-roll, it doesn't look great. And with the PSU I'm using, which is a Be Quiet Pure Power, I believe it is, straight power 11 FM, 650 watt. The cables that come with it obviously are meant for an ATX case or full tower case, that kind of thing. So they're very, very long. So they're very difficult to manage inside there. Also with the PSU, the one I've got is 160mm length, which this case does officially support according to the specifications of it. It is very, very tight in there once you've got the cables coming out the back. They kind of push up against the side, and it has actually bowed the metal a little bit where the cables are pushing the power supply out. So bear that in mind. If you can get a smaller power supply, or even go for an SFX power supply if you've got one, then I definitely recommend that, because it will make your life a lot easier in terms of fitting it in there and having more space to cable manage. Another pointer on that is if you can get custom cables that are shorter and get them the right length, maybe get, I don't know, at least 20 centimeters shorter, then you'll have a lot easier time managing the cables in these, and getting them to look a lot neater than what I've managed to here. I was going to try and tie them down somewhere, but to be honest with you, there's so much there and so little space to put it, really. I didn't really see the point of bothering with it. But you could make this look neat if you did have some modular cables in there. And that is only a minor flaw with this. Obviously, it's no tempered glass, so you're not really going to see inside. So it doesn't matter too much with this. If there's anything else I'd say in terms of things maybe need to be changed, or things you need to think about before you build, plug as many of the cables into your motherboard as you can before you actually put the motherboard onto the tray at the back, because some of them are very difficult to access once you've got it in. It is possible, I've done it, but if you can get as many cables in as possible before you put your motherboard in, especially the EPS power cables, get them in first and then try and put the motherboard in afterwards with them connected, because it will make your life a lot easier. Maybe put those in, put the motherboard in, and then run them to your power supply. And also with that, put your cables in your power supply before you put the power supply in, because I had to remove the power supply again, because you literally can't get your hand down to get them all in, or you probably could, but it'd be a real struggle. So a few things to bear in mind with building this case. It's not as straightforward as just throwing things in, but I do really like the design of it. I do like it's very, very unique. Again, like I've said before, InWin are doing some really unique stuff and trying to sort of stretch the boundaries of what cases should look like and things like that, and I believe they're doing a great job with this. And the Air Force that I did before look absolutely brilliant, and there's something that is very different to what's already out there, which is what I like to see. A bit of innovation, a bit of change, not just the same square old boxes that everyone uses. And that's it. Lastly, the last point that I wasn't a fan of is the little rubber feet that are on it. They come off far too easily. Maybe there could be some way of securing them on, or they could be harder rubber and screwed on, or they could have some sort of sticky pads to keep them on a bit better, because they do come off quite easily. But other than that, not a problem. All your IOs underneath, so you can cable manage your cables going to your monitor, into your power and stuff like that quite easily, and obviously to your graphics card and stuff like that. That's a nice little touch. IO is great, no problem there at all. And the big one that I want to mention about why I really like this case is the size of the graphics card you can get in it. I've got a 7900 XTX Red Devil from Power Color in here, and as you can see from the B-roll, it fits in there lovely, no problems whatsoever. It just fits in there really nice, so it can take some massive GPUs. I did mention it in my sort of unboxing building the case video of what it can take. I'll put that up on the screen now of the actual size it can take, but it's pretty big. Like I say, this isn't a small card at all. Some 4090s you'll probably struggle with, and some 4080s, because they use the same sort of coolers. You will struggle with those probably, but that's the case for most cases. So this is no different really. Now let's talk about thermal performance, because that's obviously a good measure of how good this case is and whether it is for you. It is an ITX case. ITX cases are generally going to be warmer, because obviously it's a much smaller enclosure, everything's more tightly compacted together. So what I did with this, I ran it with panels on and panels off for CPU and GPU testing to get the temperatures. I ran Cinebench for CPU and Superposition by Unigen for the GPU test. Just to really hit them both hard and see sort of how well it performs when it's closed off, and then obviously the difference when it's open. Idles when it was closed was pretty much the same. The CPU was at 33 degrees. There is one fan in this that comes with it, the Luna 120 that goes on the side, which is feeding fresh air directly to the CPU really. There's no restriction, there's no dust filter or anything. There's hardly any restriction whatsoever there at all, so it's feeding fresh air. So open or closed doesn't make a difference in idle temperatures for the CPU. Then going on to Cinebench for CPU testing, 5 minutes, multi-core. Like I say, this is a 5600G, it's nothing massive, it's not a really power hungry hot CPU, but still, if I do the different tests, it gives you an idea of how well the case performs. So with it open, it was 78 degrees maximum, and with it closed, it was 78 degrees. And again, like I say, that is probably because the fan's chucking fresh air straight at it, pretty much, and there's no problems with it at all. I'm using a Be Quiet low profile, really small, low profile CPU cooler, because it's perfect for this CPU. Obviously, if you put a different cooler on it, you'll get lower temperatures. Obviously, different CPUs will come out different as well. Now, the one where the temperatures vary massively and where I can give some insight into it more so is the GPU temperatures. So when the GPU compartment was closed, I am running a sort of very aggressive fan curve on this, where it gets up to 100% pretty quickly, because obviously I just want to see the best case scenario really. So when the panels were closed on the GPU compartment, the maximum temperature of the GPU was 65 degrees, which isn't bad at all, not a problem. But obviously, like I say, it depends on your fan curve, on how you control your fans on it. However, when I then took the panel right off, the panel is very close to the GPU. When I took the panel completely off, it dropped all the way down to 53 degrees with the same fan curve. So you can see there's a massive restriction there with the way the panel is set up as standard. However, this case, as you can see here, has the ability to open all these little vents here. I decided to open them all. Why not? Obviously, you can mess around with it and do a little pattern or whatever you want to do on these. Decided to open all, and I really like the look of it like this. I think it looks pretty cool. And that dropped the GPU temperatures down to 54, so almost as good as having the panel open. So in that case, it's not bad at all. So if you are running a high-end GPU, I suggest opening these up, because they come close to having no panel at all, and that's absolutely fantastic and a really nice little design feature. So that's it, guys. Not really much more to say about this case. I'm actually impressed with it. Really easy to put together. Build's quite easy as long as you pre-plan the way you're going to do things and sort your cables out and things like that. Cable management isn't great. I've mentioned a few other things that aren't to my liking with it. However, overall, as a package, really good case. Really happy with it, and temperatures are fantastic as well. No problem with those at all. Even just having that one fan feeds enough fresh air to your CPU, and opening these up helps your GPU out massively. So all in all, great. And that's really it, guys. Before I go, it's just to mention, if you use code FREEMOUSE through InWin store, you get a free mouse, Nomic mouse, sort of a weird sort of vertical mouse, but you get that for free if you buy this case with that code. So make sure you check that out. If you're going to buy this, you might as well get it for free. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you join me in the next video. I've got many more videos coming, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. If you haven't subscribed already, then please don't forget to subscribe. Give this video a like if you liked it, give it a dislike if you didn't like it, and leave me any comments in the comments section below, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.